Today, we're diving headfirst into the notorious concentration camp that not only terrified its victims, but even gave the Nazis themselves the shivers. So, get ready to uncover the terrifying secrets of Jasenovac, a place where nightmares became a reality. The historical backdrop of Yugoslavia encompasses a tapestry of diverse ethnic groups, each contributing to the complex mosaic of the region's identity. Over centuries, Yugoslavia was subjected to the dominance of external powers, shaping its socio-political landscape and sowing the seeds of ethnic tension that would persist for generations. Comprising Serbs, Croats, Slovenes, Montenegrins, Bosnian Muslims, Albanians, and others, Yugoslavia's ethnic composition was inherently diverse. While enriching the region's cultural fabric, this diversity also served as a source of division and conflict. Throughout its history, Yugoslavia fell under the sway of various external powers, including the Ottoman Empire and the Austro-Hungarian Empire. These imperial dominions imposed their authority, often exploiting ethnic divisions to maintain control and perpetuate their rule. The legacy of foreign domination left a lasting imprint on Yugoslavia, fostering deep-seated animosities and rivalries among its diverse ethnic groups. As external powers vied for influence, they exacerbated tensions and stoked nationalist sentiments, further entrenching regional divisions. Religious differences, linguistic variations, and competing historical narratives further complicated the ethno-political landscape, fueling a cycle of distrust and conflict. Thus, the historical backdrop of Yugoslavia is characterized by a complex interplay of ethnic diversity, external domination, and simmering tensions. This tumultuous history laid the groundwork for the rise of nationalist movements and the eventual fracturing of Yugoslavia, culminating in devastating conflicts and humanitarian crises in the late 20th century. Comprehending Yugoslavia's historical background is crucial for appreciating the intricacies of its disintegration and the lasting consequences of ethnic conflict in the Balkan region. Right after World War I, the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes was established in 1918 from the ruins of the Austro-Hungarian Empire and other nearby regions. This is when Yugoslavia had its start. This new state aimed to unite South Slavic peoples under one nation, but it soon became apparent that the diverse ethnic groups within its borders harbored deep-seated tensions. The ethnic makeup of Yugoslavia was incredibly complex, comprising not only of Croats and Serbs, but also Slovenes, Montenegrins, Bosnian Muslims, Albanians, and others. Each group had distinct cultural, linguistic, and religious identities, often clashing with their neighbors. Historical tensions between Croats and Serbs, stemming from centuries of domination by foreign powers and competition for land and resources, were particularly pronounced. The Croat-Serb rivalry was fueled by competing national aspirations and grievances, exacerbated by differences in religion, Catholicism versus Orthodox Christianity, and language, Croatian versus Serbian. Moreover, the presence of minority ethnic groups such as Bosnian Muslims and Albanians added another layer of complexity to Yugoslavia's ethnic mosaic. These groups often found themselves caught in the crossfire of Croat-Serb animosity, facing discrimination and marginalization from both sides. The complexities of Yugoslavia's ethnic makeup laid the groundwork for decades of political instability, social unrest, and ultimately, violent conflict. The tensions between Croats, Serbs, and other ethnic groups would erupt into full-blown warfare during the breakup of Yugoslavia in the 1990s, leading to some of the bloodiest conflicts in European history since World War II. Understanding the historical roots of these tensions is essential for comprehending the turbulent history of the Balkans and the challenges of building a multi-ethnic state in the region. Throughout history, external powers have often exploited ethnic divisions within Yugoslavia as a means to maintain control and further their interests. The Ottoman Turks and Austrian-Hungarian Empire are two prominent examples of how they exacerbated ethnic tensions in the area. The Ottoman Turks, who ruled over the Balkans for centuries, employed a divide-and-rule strategy to assert their dominance. They often favored certain ethnic or religious groups over others, sowing seeds of resentment and mistrust among the diverse population of Yugoslavia. Additionally, the imposition of Ottoman rule led to the conversion of many Bosnians to Islam, further deepening religious divides within the region. Similarly, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which annexed Bosnia and Herzegovina in 1908, exploited ethnic tensions to solidify its control over the region. The empire implemented policies that favored certain ethnic groups, such as the Catholic Croats, while marginalizing others like Orthodox Serbs. This unequal treatment fueled hatred between different ethnic communities and contributed to the fracturing of Yugoslav society. Furthermore, both the Ottoman and Austro-Hungarian rulers manipulated ethnic identities for their political gains, exacerbating existing divisions and fostering a sense of mistrust and hostility among the various ethnic groups in Yugoslavia. These tactics laid the groundwork for future conflicts and tensions within the region, ultimately shaping the socio-political landscape that would define Yugoslavia in the 20th century. Religion and language played pivotal roles in shaping ethnic identity within Yugoslavia. The distinctions between Catholic Croats, Orthodox Serbs, and Bosnian Muslims underscored the diverse religious landscape of the region. Catholicism predominated among Croats, reflecting historical ties to the Roman Catholic Church and the influence of Western European culture. Conversely, Orthodoxy was central to Serbian identity, with the Serbian Orthodox Church serving as a unifying institution for Serbs. Bosnian Muslims, or Bosniaks, represented a unique blend of Slavic ethnicity and Islamic faith, having converted during Ottoman rule. These religious affiliations not only delineated ethnic boundaries, but also informed cultural practices and social norms. Language further reinforced ethnic identities, with Croats primarily using the Latin alphabet, reflecting their historical ties to Catholicism and Western Europe. In contrast, Serbs utilized the Cyrillic alphabet, aligning with their Orthodox heritage and cultural ties to Russia and the Eastern Orthodox world. This linguistic divergence symbolized more profound historical and cultural differences between the two groups. The significance of language scripts extended beyond mere communication. They served as a marker of identity and belonging. The refusal or inability to adopt the script associated with one's ethnic group could lead to social ostracism or suspension. Thus, language scripts became emblematic of ethnic pride and solidarity, reinforcing group cohesion in the face of external pressures. The emergence of nationalist movements in Yugoslavia, notably the Croatian Ustasa, is a pivotal chapter in the region's history, marked by genuine aspirations for Croatian independence and the propagation of extremist ideologies. The roots of Croatian nationalism can be traced back to the dissolution of the Austro-Hungarian Empire and the formation of Yugoslavia in 1918. Dissatisfaction with centralized authority and perceived marginalization fueled sentiments of Croatian autonomy. Led by figures like Ante Pavelic, the Ustasa movement sought to capitalize on these nationalist sentiments by advocating for a Croatian state founded on exclusivist and fascist principles. Pavelic's vision for Croatia included the establishment of a one-party dictatorship, with the Ustasa at the helm, and the relegation of Serbs, Jews, and Roma people to inferior status or expulsion. The Ustasa's ideology was deeply entrenched in notions of ethnic superiority, religious homogeneity, and territorial expansionism. Catholicism was promoted as the sole religion of Croatia, while Serbs and other minority groups were deemed unworthy of inclusion in the envisioned Croatian state. Such extremist ideologies provided fertile ground for the propagation of hatred and violence against perceived enemies of the Croatian nation. Amidst the turmoil of World War II and the German invasion of Yugoslavia, the Ustasa seized power in Croatia, establishing a puppet regime that collaborated with Nazi forces in perpetrating atrocities against Serbs, Jews, and others deemed undesirable. The rise of the Ustasa regime marked a dark chapter in Croatian history, characterized by the brutal suppression of dissent and the mechanized persecution of minority groups. The formation of the Ustasa movement, spearheaded by leaders such as Ante Pavelic, marked a pivotal moment in Croatian history. Emerging in the interwar period, the Ustasa movement was driven by a genuine desire for Croatian independence and autonomy. At its core, the movement advocated for the establishment of a Croatian state founded upon exclusivist and fascist principles. The nationalist politician and attorney Ante Pavelic was instrumental in determining the philosophy and course of the Ustasa movement. Pavelic's vision for Croatia was deeply rooted in notions of ethnic superiority and nationalism, drawing inspiration from fascist ideologies prevalent in neighboring Italy and Germany. He sought to create a homogeneous Croatian state purged of perceived ethnic and religious impurities. The ideology of the Ustasa movement was characterized by its radicalism and extremism. It promoted the supremacy of the Croatian nation, often at the expense of other ethnic groups within Yugoslavia. Catholicism was upheld as the sole religion of the Croatian state, while Serbs, Jews, Roma, and other minorities were viewed as inferior and expendable. Fundamental tenets of Ustasa ideology included territorial expansionism, aggressive nationalism, and the promotion of authoritarianism under Pavelic's leadership. The movement aimed to consolidate power by establishing a one-party state, with Pavelic assuming the role of the supreme leader, or Pavlagnik. The outbreak of World War II plunged Yugoslavia into chaos as internal divisions were exacerbated by external aggression. In April 1941, Adolf Hitler's forces launched a devastating invasion of Yugoslavia, swiftly overwhelming its defenses. The country's leadership was ill-prepared to resist the onslaught, and within a matter of weeks, Yugoslavia catapulted to the Axis powers. The German invasion provided the Ustasa regime with an opportunity to solidify its grip on power and implement its genocidal agenda. Collaborating closely with Nazi forces, the Ustasa government unleashed a campaign of terror against perceived enemies, mainly targeting Serbs, Jews, Roma, and other minority groups. Under the pretext of establishing a racially pure Croatian state, the Ustasa regime carried out widespread atrocities, including mass killings, forced deportations, and brutal acts of violence. The infamous Jasenovac concentration camps became symbolic of the Ustasa's reign of terror, serving as sites of systematic extermination and torture. The collaboration between the Ustasa regime and Nazi forces facilitated the implementation of Hitler's genocidal policies in Yugoslavia, leading to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians. The Ustasa's ruthless campaign of ethnic cleansing left a dark stain on Yugoslavia's history, with the scars of this traumatic period continuing to resonate in the collective memory of the region. The Nazi invasion of Yugoslavia and the Ustasa regime's cooperation with the Germans afterward highlight the extent of human depravity that was unleashed during World War II. The atrocities committed in Yugoslavia serve as a grim reminder of the consequences of unchecked hatred and intolerance, underscoring the imperative of vigilance against such atrocities in the future. The Jasenovac concentration camps under the control of Ustasa regime during World War II epitomized unimaginable cruelty and suffering. Victims faced a harrowing reality marked by systematic mass killings, brutal torture methods, and deplorable living conditions. At Jasenovac, the Ustasa regime orchestrated large-scale massacres, targeting primarily Serbs, Jews, Roma, and other minority groups deemed inferior by their twisted ideology. Thousands were executed daily, often through methods like shootings, throat cuttings, or blunt force trauma. The sheer volume of killing staggered the imagination, with estimates suggesting tens of thousands perished within the camp's confines. Torture was not just a means of punishment, but a sadistic form of entertainment for the Ustasa guards. They subjected prisoners to unspeakable horrors, including mutilation, dismemberment, and psychological torment. Such acts of brutality served to instill fear and assert dominance over the helpless inmates. The living conditions at Jasenovac were beyond dire. Prisoners endured overcrowded barracks, unsanitary conditions, and insufficient food and water supplies. Disease and starvation were rampant, claiming countless lives alongside the Ustasa's deliberate violence. The tragedies of Jasenovac serve as a horrifying reminder of the depths of human depravity and the consequences of uncontrolled hatred and fanaticism. The atrocities committed within its walls stand as a testament to the darkest chapters of history, underscoring the importance of remembrance and vigilance against ideologies that breed intolerance and violence. The crimes carried out by the Ustasa dictatorship in the Second World War left deep scars on Yugoslavia's social and political landscape, reverberating long after the war ended. The communist partisan takeover following the war aimed to quell ethnic tensions and establish a unified socialist state. However, despite initial efforts to suppress ethnic divisions, underlying grievances persisted. The legacy of Ustasa's crimes fueled resentment and distrust among Yugoslavia's diverse ethnic groups, contributing to renewed cycles of violence and conflict. Ethnic minorities, mainly Serbs, remained wary of Croatian nationalism and sought to protect their cultural identity within the new socialist state. Meanwhile, memories of past atrocities continued to shape inter-ethnic relations, perpetuating a cycle of hatred and suspicion. The breakdown of Yugoslavia in the late 1980s and early 1990s exposed the unresolved tensions left in the wake of Ustasa's brutality. As nationalist fervor surged across the region, old wounds reopened, leading to a series of devastating ethnic conflicts, most notably in Bosnia and Herzegovina. The disintegration of Yugoslavia into independent states further exacerbated ethnic divisions, leaving behind a fractured and deeply divided region. The enduring impact of Yugoslavia's tumultuous history underscores the importance of addressing historical injustices and promoting reconciliation. By acknowledging the atrocities of the Ustasa regime and confronting the legacies of past violence, societies in the former Yugoslavia can strive towards healing and fostering mutual understanding. Only through confronting the past can the cycle of ethnic violence be broken, paving the way for a more peaceful and inclusive future. This was all about the truth behind the chilling place of Jasenovac. Show your love by your like, subscribe, and comments. See you later in the next video. Cheers!